First of all, before we get into what happened this week, what is your view on the Rwanda policy generally? Is it a good policy, or did you think it was wrong to start with?
I think when you good afternoon, Eileen. I think when you actually commented that it's a debacle, I think you hit the nail on the head there. But one wonders if it's a debacle that was actually planned by the government, because at the start of the programme, I think you raised a very good question when you said, could it have ever worked? Now, when we look at the Queen's speech, there was a commitment to introduce a Bill of Rights to replace the Human Rights Act. And it's the Human Rights Act that is the precise reason why this policy is now stalled. So the question I have is, why did the government not wait for the Bill of Rights to be implemented, knowing that obviously these challenges were going to be made? They knew that this was going to happen. They knew there would be challenges in the court. There's nothing unexpected of what is happening. So it does, I think, raise some serious questions as to why this has been allowed to happen at the cost of the taxpayer.
And of course, David, you're right to say this isn't the first time that the Human Rights Act has been used to stop deportations. It's been happening for quite some time. But I think this is a new policy. One would have thought it would have been checked against the legislation that's already in place. But maybe you're suggesting the whole point of it was to raise anger about the Human Rights Act so that they could then move to the next stage of dealing with that. Is that what you're essentially saying?
Yeah. The timing seems very suspicious, because as soon as all of this, everybody's been the outrage from both sides, and then all of a sudden it's references to the ECHR and again references to what will be in the Bill of Rights. If you are implementing this policy, the government must have known that it would come for legal challenges. Why then implement it now and not after the new legislation for human rights that they're implementing? It doesn't make sense. Because all that you've got now is clear uncertainty that's unacceptable for everybody involved, and a significant waste of taxpayers' money. I mean, I think it's reported that the plane alone cost $500,000. So the question is, why is this being done in this way? It seems very, very shoddy and unplanned, but evidently it can't have been.
Yeah, and David, I noticed that you mentioned the cost of the plane, but I think it's in the region of £12,000 per person to deport them to Rwanda. But apparently this is going to be tried again and again. But what did you make of the fact that Priti Patel has now launched a social media campaign to try and stop unaccompanied minors, families from coming across the channel? Obviously, this is continuing to be a huge problem, which is why they probably went ahead instead of waiting for the change to the legislation.
Yeah, I think you asked me at the outset as well what I think about the policy, and there obviously is a serious issue that we have with migrants. It's one that needs dealing with, but I don't think it's one that you're going to be able to deal with just a social media campaign by Priti Patel or just this particular policy. There are many things I think that need to be implemented to ensure that the problem of the migrants goes away. So obviously, what you do with the migrants when they come to the UK, the actual protection, promotion of their human rights or not, but also providing other routes legally for migrants to come into the UK, which is not, the type of people that come across don't have legal routes in. So, for instance, you could have, unskilled workers visas, things like that, humanitarian visas, which we don't have in the UK. So I think there needs to be a proper, full and detailed review of the issue. But that hasn't happened. And I think with Priti Patel, as you mentioned, now using social media, I mean, that's going to be, I think, as ineffective as their policy so far in relation to Rwanda.